Hello all, I'm back. I'm back. The Ministry of Truth put me in timeout for wrong think. But anyway, here I am, doing an album ranking. I posted another one up because I had filmed that way back anyway. And so this is my actual video I made today, as we speak. Anyway, so as you can see to the thumbnail, who this is Paul McCartney and Wings. So what I'm going to do is just go over the albums in the rank that they came out, and then I'm going to shuffle them around and tell you how my order of preference, my ranking. But since they only got 8 albums, really 7, and one massive triple live album, we're going to start with May of '71, Ram. Okay, Ram, really a Paul McCartney and Linda album. It was originally just a Paul McCartney album, but Linda's. And the reason I'm including this on here is basically because it was already 3/4 of Wings, and Wings came out like a couple of months right after that. Who was on here? It was the drummer. What's the drummer's name? I can't even remember. But anyway, the drummer, what was his name? Denny Sewell. There you go. There, Ram, great album, came out in May. Too Many People, that's the song that Lennon took umbrage to. Uncle Albert, Albert Halsley, Eat at Home, The Backseat of My Car, Another Day, great album. Then they followed that up with Wings Wildlife, very reminiscent of Lennon's first album too, at least the cover is. So on here, who was on here? Let me see. This was the first official album that was Wings, and this came out December of '71, that same year. Well, it doesn't seem to list who was on the tracks, which is quite odd. Interesting. Okay, so like I said, this is when they first brought Denny Lane on from the Moody Blues, and this is a good album. It's not like he has a bad album in the canon. Anything Wings I kind of adored, anyway. Let's see what's on here. Bit Bop, Some People Never Know, Wildlife, Love is Strange, Bit Bop's probably the most famous song on here. Wildlife. Good album though, good album. That was the second album, and then they came out with this jam, Rose Speedway. This came out in '73, so they took like almost a year and a half off. Big Barn Red, that's a great song. My Love, of course. When the Night, Single Pigeon, and then it has a medley in here. Country Dreamer, I Lie Around, Rose Speedway. Number 1 album also is the first number 1 album from McCartney as a solo artist, or with his next band. Next up, we had this monster of an album, Band on the Run. I like all the people on here. You got, which is pretty cool. Mainly, you got, what's his name? James Coburn. And Christopher Lee, too, I think. Where's Christopher? Yeah, Christopher Lee. That's cool. Christopher Lee at the time was very into the Hammer Dracula movies, but he had time to go Pierce McCartney. Another number 1 album, huge. This is the biggest selling album, of course. Everybody knows the songs on it. Band on the Run, Jet, Bluebird, Mr. Vanderbilt was my Let Me Roll It, Picasso's Last Words. I like Mr. Vanderbilt. That's just a cool song. Then we had Venus and Mars are alright tonight. This was released in '75, another number 1 album. Rock Show, Letting Go, Listen to What the Man Said, another number one song. Magneto and Titanium Man. I think it was the first time somebody used Marvel comic heroes in a song. Spirits of Ancient Egypt, Medicine Jar, My Carnival. That's like a bonus. That was a B-side. Like that song too. And then we had Wings at the Speed of Sound. Wings at the Speed of Sound came out in 1976. Let 'Em In, of course, number 3 top 10 hit in the U.S., number 1 in England. And of course, Silly Love Songs, Warm and Beautiful, Wino Junko, Time to Hide. Good album, very 70s sound. It's got that, I don't know if it's a Hammond keyboard or something. It's cool. And then we got Londontown, which came out in 1978. And of course, we had another big hit with a Little Luck, another number one song. This is a number one album also. No, it's a number 2 in the U.S. Weird. I like the song Londontown with a Little Luck. This, of course, has Mull of Kintyre on it, which is worth getting in itself. I always like this cover. I just thought it was a really cool cover. Then on the back, that cover, kind of flip mode from fall to spring, I guess. Winter to summer. There's another picture of the core band at that point. Denny Lane, McCartney, and Linda. And then we have their last album, which is Back to the Egg. Back to the Egg. This came out in 1979. This would be their last album because McCartney had a little problem over in Japan with some wacky tobacco, you know. I don't know what the man was thinking. Bringing a couple of pounds of weed to Japan. What? Really? You couldn't get somebody over there to get it for you? Lunatic. I love this album. It's always been one of my favorite albums by him. Getting Closer, We're Open Tonight, Spin It On, it's almost like a punk song. Again and Again, Old Cyan, sir. Arrow Right Through Me. Could have shot an arrow right through me. Rockestra Theme with John Bonham on it. Come on, man, what? And what else is on here? And then this one also has Wonderful Christmas Time, which is a thing he put out at the time. This they also performed. He also had a number one song at this time. 2 was Coming Up, which would later appear on McCartney 2, but it's first performed by Wings, and that was the song that went to number 1 in the U.S. But anyway, let me give you my preference. Okay, so now I'm going to rank them as I like them. The number 1 album for me is Band on the Run. It's just a great album through and through. Full-time listen. Also, number 2, Venus and Mars. Straight listen, straight through. That's my opinion. Number 3, Back to the Egg. I love that cover. Isn't that a cool cover? That's number 3 for me. Number 4 for me would be Londontown. It's a great album. I just love the way it sounds. Then we have Rose Speedway. It's kind of hard to grade some of these ones at the bottom because they're all easily interchangeable. And then we have Wings at the Speed of Sound. And then we have their debut, which is Wildlife. Now, and then this could easily fit somewhere in the middle, but it's kind of like an outlier, even though it's 3/4 Wings, and Wings did form shortly after Ram. And it's got some really great songs on here. So, but I can't really say it's a Wings album, so I'm going to kip it to these 7 with honorable mention as almost a Wings album. Kind of still is a Wings album because they would, you know. And then, of course, he had his little hits in between, you know, like Live and Let Die, just monster, Coming Up. Fantastic. So there you go. There's my little album ranking, little recollection of Wings, one of my all-time favorite bands. I love every one of their albums dearly. Anyway, you have a great day.